So this is going to be a very informal introduction of myself. Basically, I'll talk about my life, um, and I break it into a few blocks. The first block is my childhood. The second block is my seminary years. The third block is my career. And the fourth block is my work as a writer. In terms of my childhood, I was born in Springfield, Missouri, one of four children. I have one sister and three brothers. My father was a teacher who eventually became a principal, and my mother was a housewife who eventually became a dental assistant and then a nurse. We were a low income, working class family. My parents divorced when I was 5 years old, and what was particularly impactful for me in my childhood was going to a Catholic school in fifth grade, because I learned from that the difference between public and private schools and how there can be tremendous disparity. Then there is this second block of my life, the seminary years. I spent 12 years in the seminary, high school seminary, college seminary, and theology. The gains that I got from the seminary were some long term friendships, some of which have lasted for 25 years. Uh, I learned a lot about social justice issues. I got to read great spiritual writers. And I studied for the dioceses of Springfield, Cape Girardeau, Missouri, and then Kansas City, Missouri. I was impressed with the progressiveness of the Kansas City diocese and its emphasis upon leadership by lay people and not just by priests. Ultimately, I left the seminary in part because I did not feel comfortable with the Catholic Church's position on women's ordination. I felt that I didn't want to be an enabler of an institution that was denying women equal rights. The third block is my career. And in my career, I've had some fairly humble jobs as well as some jobs that were pretty exciting to me and gave me remarkable opportunities, really. The humble jobs included some paralegal work, some administrative work. I served as a waiter one summer and as a camp counselor some years, which was very rewarding. Now, my jobs included working on gun control and preventing gun violence. I worked for Jim and Sarah Brady at Handgun Control and played a role in securing passage of the Brady Bill and the ban on assault weapons. My role in those campaigns was to organize religious leaders and press conferences in 6 congressional districts. My second major position was as National Field Organizer for a federal program, Emergency Medical Services for Children. This program focused upon improving emergency care for kids throughout the country. One of my main roles in that position was to ensure that families are treated well in emergency situations, and I developed some guidelines for family-centered care. The third major position was directing the New Voices program, which was a leadership development program for emerging leaders in the human rights movement. The program included investments in racial justice work, women's rights work, HIV/AIDS work, international human rights, migrant and refugee rights, and many other issues. Basically, almost every social justice issue had someone working on those issues through our program. The fourth major position was focused upon addressing alcohol policies in Africa, and this work took me to Nigeria 4 times. And the focus was upon particularly reducing drink driving among tanker drivers, which was a major problem in Nigeria. Fuel tankers, as well as large trucks. The next block, the fourth block in my life, would be as a writer. And if you look at my career and at my resume, you would see that I've written on several issues, and some of them have to do with leadership skills. So I've written monographs on coalition building, fundraising, effective policy advocacy, mentoring emerging leaders, leadership development, its future, and resources that program managers can put to use, family-centered health care, and then I'm presently working on a collection of aphorisms or proverbs that people can reflect upon and that can enrich people's spiritual lives. And I intend to write on a number of social issues that are important to me. So those are the major blocks of my life: my childhood, my seminary years, my career, and my work as a writer. And I look forward to introducing myself to you in person, and thank you for your interest in hearing about me.